A Republican zeroes in on OF creators, Donald Trump flipped the bird at the Ford factory, and we have a new update in the killing of Renee Nicole Good. But it gets worse. Let's start with this Republican candidate for Florida Governor, James Fishback. He has been making the rounds online because he positions himself as a right-wing populist. But I want to talk about James Fishback going after people like Sophie Rain, who is a creator on OF. It's been widely reported that she has made millions of dollars doing that, and he's saying that she either needs to quit and get a different job or pay an even larger share of taxes.
I'm elected on August 18th, 2026 as the Republican candidate to succeed Ron DeSantis. We're passing a 50% tax on all Onlyfans income. And guess what? For Sophie Rain, who is a proud resident of Florida, that means she's gonna have to pay $42 million.
He is proposing a 50% sin tax on OF creators. And Rain fired back, saying, "Why aren't you going after the corporations?"
Never in my whole life did I think that I would wake up and see a Florida politician trying to start beef with me for clout. So he's proposing a sin tax on Bops where we would have to pay 50% to the state on top of the 37 I already paid to the government. And I would be more than happy to pay that if multi-billion-dollar corporations were also being properly taxed. But surprise, they're not.
Because in no way is taxing the creator 50% on their earnings a sound policy. And this is always the issue with right-wing populists. The scapegoat is always somebody else, and typically a minority. And you could argue that sex workers are a minority. They're certainly politically powerless, despite their influence. But why wouldn't James Fishback want to tax corporations more? Maybe he does. Maybe he does want to tax corporations, but I went to his website and he has no platform. The guy is just a fucking meme candidate. There's nothing on his website. It's a donation page and links to his social media accounts. Also a form if you want to volunteer, but what are you volunteering for? But it seems like a deeply unserious campaign, and that suspicion was validated by his fundraising report, because so far, he's only raised $950. I'm not missing any zeros. No, that's not a misread or a typo. $950. So enjoy your retweets from Nick Fuentes fans, but this campaign is dead on arrival.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine.
Let's head on over to Michigan, where Donald Trump visited the Ford factory. While taking a tour of the plant, he was heckled by one of the employees. And it's hard to make out what he said, but the employee called him a pedophile protector for not releasing the Epstein files. That employee is named TJ Sabula, and honestly, an American hero, because he did what so many of us have wanted to do, but never had the chance. Trump, as you saw in that clip, responded by giving Sabula the finger and telling him, "Fuck you." And you might think that's where it ends, but no. Ford stepped in, and they put Sabula on leave, suspended without pay. But there's a positive update here, because people have already raised nearly $500,000 for Sabula. His job, of course, is in jeopardy, but this helps. We're gonna put this link in the description to the video. If you can chip in a few bucks, please do. But even better, and this underscores the importance of a unionized workforce, he's represented by UAW. He's a member, and they're gonna fight on his behalf. So maybe he won't be fired after all, but at the very least, he gets a hefty sum of money for doing the Lord's work. But as a reminder, this is what Donald Trump thinks of you. And as promised, we have an update out of Minnesota, if you want to call it that. CBS News reported that the officer, Jonathan Ross, suffered internal bleeding after being hit by the car of Renee Nicole Good. Now, all of those things are in question, and none of them have definitive proof, especially the claim that he suffered internal bleeding. How convenient. As we showed you in the past video, and you've probably seen elsewhere, he walked away seemingly unscathed after murdering Renee Nicole Good. Now, they want us to believe that he suffered internal bleeding. Cool, prove it. Of course, CBS News, which has been taken over by right-wing billionaire Larry Ellison and his son David Ellison, and then appointed right-wing provocateur and propagandist Barry Weiss, they're not going to worry about evidence. they're gonna take the government's word at face value. If any other outlet reported this, maybe I would believe them. But because it's CBS News, because they have so thoroughly and rapidly tarnished that brand's legacy, I don't. I need to see literally any evidence. I'm not holding my breath. And over the weekend, they continued to lie and demean a dead woman. They continue to call her a domestic terrorist. And one of the top DHS officials thinks that the people who believe that she's the victim are actually just brainwashed.
So I don't think that those individuals even really know what they're protesting. I think that they've largely been brainwashed not just by the media, but by the politicians themselves.
I know exactly why I'm angry. I know exactly why I joined the protests this past weekend saying ICE out for good. And it's why I will continue to show up to fight a fucking Gestapo kicking in people's doors and demanding to see papers. But this reign of terror across the country by the government is starting to lose support from some of Trump's most loyal figures.
Like, obviously we have this terrible tragedy in Minnesota where that woman was shot, which was horrible. It just seemed all kinds of wrong to me. Are we really going to be the Gestapo? Where's your papers? Is that what we've come to?
There are cracks in the foundation of the MAGA base, and we need to continue to exploit them, continue to pressure them.
I don't believe the cop was justified in shooting her 3 times in the face. These are not well-trained law enforcement people. This is people on their 3rd grade report card the teacher wrote that has violent tendencies.
We are seeing polling now that a plurality of the country supports abolishing ICE. There's still more work to do to turn that into a majority, but it's not going to be hard if they continue showing why they have no business existing in the first place. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel.